Hi, everyone. This is a very quick training. I will go as quickly as I can, so I might skip some detail. The purpose of this training is to show you very quickly how to set up a YouTube channel, Facebook group, and LinkedIn group, all with the intention of promoting, for example, cash flow content. If I have time, we can talk about Slack another time, but for today, I just want to show you first and foremost how to set up the channels. And we're going to err on the side of getting it done. We can worry about perfect and perfection and pretty later. One of the things I will say is, generally speaking, for any social media channel, you're going to need a logo or some version of an image. And I'm going to be honest, I really don't care about pretty. So usually what I do is I will design an infographic in PowerPoint. It is not meant to be a design tool, but it's one I'm quick and easy with. If I really want to do something a little fancier, I will use Canva as an example. But for all of you, you don't need to worry about getting this done perfectly. You can always tweak it, make it pretty later. So one thing I'll share, whenever I create a video, I keep my life really simple. I just use Zoom. And what I do is I'll open a meeting, and I just realized I'm not sharing my screen. So what I do is I use Zoom, I open a meeting and I just hit record and I'll share my screen. And that's an easy way. So if you, for example, wanted this to be the background for something, I would just do slideshow from beginning. And as you can see, you can decide, I can hide my camera, I can leave my camera. So if I stop video, it's just the background. I start the video, I reappear. So that's how I get most of my thumbnails for YouTube videos. I'm not going to get into how you edit video because that's another conversation and it takes a little longer. But for today, I'm going to show you how to set up a YouTube channel, how to set up Facebook, LinkedIn groups, and then we'll talk about some cash flow content. So bear with me. And like I said, I may skip some of the steps. If you're following along, just watch the screen. I will try to make sure I tell you every single thing I do. If there's some links, I'll try to put them in the notes below. And let's just jump in. So the first thing I do, I always start with the YouTube channel. And the reason I create the YouTube channel first, it's something I'm going to refer to in other places. And technically with Facebook, you can upload videos directly in Facebook. LinkedIn, you can upload videos directly if they're less than, I think it's 10 minutes. And so what I try to do is I try to put them on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Now, if you really want to get fancy, you can use Instagram and TikTok. It really depends, and I can't stress this enough. It depends where your clients are currently hanging out. If you've already got a Facebook group, use Facebook. If you've already got a LinkedIn presence, use LinkedIn. If you do both, use both. So the first thing you're going to do, and I use this as a shortcut. You can go to this support.google.com link, and what you're looking for is, I'm going to assume you don't have a YouTube channel and you need to create one. If you have one, instead of creating a channel, what you're going to do is create a cash flow playlist. So I'll talk to you about the playlist as we go, but just follow this. And I already have a brand account, so I don't know if I want to create one, but I will. And so what I always do is I go here to my channel list and I would create a channel. Let's call it Cash Flow Community. I don't know if that's taken. And we will create it. Now, it might ask you to verify your channel, things like that. So let's see what this does. Okay, it says the channel does not exist, so I don't know if it worked or not. I'm going to go into one of my channels just so you can see what it should look like. Let me find one here. Actually, let me keep sharing my screen. So if you see over here this circle C, that's the cash flow community. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to get rid of my video because my big head takes up screen space that we don't need to share. Okay, so what you want to do is just, I'm going to use an existing channel because that's probably more relevant. So what you want to do is come to switch account, and I'm going to use my clientology account. And it looks like it's kind of confused between the two. So I'm going to go to over on the left hand side here. It said your videos. I might have to log out, come back in. Okay. So this is the, if you go to studio.youtube.com, this is you logged in. And this create here, this is where you'd upload videos, content. This is your existing videos. I'll show you all of this in a second. If you have an existing channel, you click on playlists here, and you can see you can easily add a new playlist up at the top right. And for this, I'm going to call it Cash Flow Community. And the important thing is you want to make it public for the most part because you want as many people as possible to see it. And you can click here to upload your logo. Now, if I look at my playlists, the Cash Flow Community as at the is at the bottom. So I click on the little pencil, and what I can do is I can click edit here to edit the name. I'm okay with Cash Flow Community. I can click the pencil here, and you've got up to 5,000 characters. So you'd write down what you're going to do in this group. So we believe that cash flow is. So give it a nice little description. And once you upload your first video, it'll create a thumbnail for the entire thing. So now what I might do, for example, is have a slide that says cash flow community. So cash, and I just use templates, so I'm easily able to create things. So cash flow community. Tip 1. Okay, so this is just an example, and I'll show you why I did this. So if I was to record this, for example, I would do it as a slideshow, and I do it from beginning. And I'd say, hi, everyone, welcome to the cash flow community. Today's tip number 1, is invoice your customers for smaller amounts more often. This will lead to faster payment and smaller accounts receivable balances. So, what this does is number one, it accelerates the speed of cash coming in. And over time, it means you're collecting more cash because you're going to have smaller receivables. So that's it. You record this very quickly. You just, like I said, get on Zoom, you record the tip. When you're done, you exit Zoom and you have it convert it to video. So I can't show you the controls, but I am recording this. And then when I'm done, I will go File, Save As, and this is important. And I change the file type to JPG, JPEG, and I might give it a name like, for example, cash flow tip 1. Now, this is important. You hit save, and the PowerPoint will ask you, do you want to save all slides or just the one? I'm going to save just one. And it will put that in my folders. So you can see here I have this image. So I have cash flow community as an example. This is not perfect. You could also use this slide as an example. So you could go File, Save As, Cash Flow Tip 1 Cover, and you turn it to JPEG, just this one. So I'm not going to save that because I don't want to keep it. So now what I would do is, let's pretend I have a video. So I would go upload video, and YouTube will think about it for a minute. So I'm just going to drag any old video that I have. Documents, Zoom. Oops, of course that's not one. Okay, so here's a short little Zoom video. So pretend this is the one we just recorded with the cash flow. We would drop it here, and we would call it cash flow tip 1. Give it a description. The more detailed you are, the better. You've got 5,000 characters. So you could even go so far as, when I'm really feeling ambitious, I will drop. Oh, I deleted it, didn't I? I'll literally copy and paste from the slide so it's there. The more detail you give it, the more SEO, the more love that the algorithm gives it. So you want people who are watching this to know what they're going to watch. So give it a bit of a description. In this video, we talk inflow by invoicing. Okay, so really, really simple. And then you'll notice the thumbnail. This is the image we just saved out of PowerPoint. So here, for example, now the most important part, if you've got somebody working on this, is you want them to click and select the playlist. There's nothing YouTube hates more than a disorganized, chaotic channel. So they actually give you better results if you have a playlist. Now, we have, this is a playlist within my regular channel. If you had just a brand new channel that was devoted just to cash flow, I might do a playlist on accelerating cash in, increasing cash in, decelerating cash out, decreasing cash out. So you might have 4 different playlists just to organize it. Maybe you have an in-house one, maybe you have one with local experts. And that's another thing, you can get other people to do videos for you. You put it on your channel. Um, Now, for the audience, this is important. I always say, no, it's not made for kids. It doesn't really affect the kids' video, but the reality is, I just want to be clear that these are not videos for kids. I'm not asking YouTube to restrict the videos, because there's not going to be any compensation. And then under show more, it depends, but if you're going to promote a business, I always check this. It just shows up in the top corner. It says this video may contain promotional products. If you're talking about your business or you're sponsoring, endorsing your business, it's easier to check this, because if you don't and YouTube flags you, they'll shut your channel down for no reason. Now, automatic chapters, automatic places, I leave that selected the default. Now, tags here, you would put, for example, your business name and cash flow tips. So give them things, what would people want normally searching for that they'd find this? Um, I'd put, for example, your community name. That way people know this is really, really local. And then I don't bother with the language or the captions, the recording date. I don't really care about that stuff. I almost always just leave it at standard YouTube license. I'll leave these two defaults checked. I'll leave that default checked. This normally, I would leave it in the how to and style. You can pick another category if you want, but honestly, how to and style seems to be a good place. And then you decide. For me personally, I don't like it when some random crazy person posts something. So I usually hold the comments for review. If you've got an open community and you trust everyone, you can say allow all comments. And then you can sort comments, doesn't matter how. And I usually leave the show how many viewers. So pretty much all of this, we left the defaults. Now we hit next. And you can add subtitles. I personally don't bother. You can add an end screen. Again, I usually don't bother. If you're promoting your business, you might want to put an image. You might want to add one there. And then we're going to hit next. So they've checked there's no issues. So now what I usually do is I'll save or publish, and I'll go public and set as instant premiere and hit publish. And what that does, YouTube does all the processing, and then you get this link, which you can use to share on other social media. Now, I am going to actually come in and delete this video because I don't even know what I actually uploaded. But that's the first step. So we've just launched a brand new YouTube channel, and we've created a video that we can share later. Next, we're going to go into Facebook, and what you do is you log in, you go to your home, and you put groups, and you can see here you can create new group. So let's call it cash flow. I would be more specific, like which community are you in? Business cash flow, something like that. Business cash flow tips for businesses in Port Hope, etc. And then under privacy, you generally just want this to be public. You could pick private if you really, really want it, but let's make it public for now. And then you want to invite some of your friends just to get the group going with some critical mass. And then you hit create. And really, truly, that's pretty much as far as I'm going to go with the Facebook group, because you'll live and learn over time. You'll be able to add things. But here, as you can see, you can literally upload the video directly from your computer. I'm not going to, just because it's a bit of a nuisance, but if you didn't want to upload it, you could put the link to the YouTube video. But basically what I'll do is I'll take the description from YouTube that I put in. So for example, I'll take this description and I'll paste it right into Facebook. Now Facebook's a little weird. You have to format it because whatever you paste in just comes in as just junky. thing. You're going to post as yourself, not anonymously. Now, we've already, presumably, we would add a video or a photo to it, and you hit post, and that's all you have to do. So every time you do a video, you make sure you upload it to the group. And so the key is you want to keep inviting people. So you would invite your key strategic partners, you would invite existing clients. Now you can change the URL, you can do a bunch of fancy things. Um, I'll do in-depth training another day once you've launched your Facebook group, but for now, just get it launched. Best practices, you want to add like your logo or an image up top here. You just click the edit button, and it's really, really easy. So, for example, edit, you might upload a photo. So I'm really unimaginative right now. There we go. So that, for example, might be my cash flow community. And that's it. So that is, as hard as it is to create a Facebook group. Now you can go under these group rules. I recommend you set up some rules. It's very easy. You just get started. Um, you can just go through the little settings. If you've already used Facebook, I'm not going to insult you by teaching you everything you need to know or you already know. Now, the last thing we talked about was LinkedIn. And so we're going to go over to LinkedIn. And what you want to do is you see the groups here on the left, you go home and then you click on groups. And just like in Facebook, you hit create group, and you should have a small logo that you would upload over here. I think the standard size is 400 by 400, and then you would have a larger, longer logo that you would upload at the top, and it, as you can see, is more of a rectangular thing. Give it a name like business cash flow community. Give it a description. What are you going to do in the group? If you are serving a local community, for example, if you're in Swift Current, Saskatchewan, I would put that location there so that you keep it very, very specific to your community. I usually just copy and paste my rules from my Facebook group into my LinkedIn group, and I like to leave the group as listed. And this is important. You want to allow members to invite their connections. And I usually require new posts be reviewed by admins because you'll get some crazy people that just pop in and post random things and leave. And once you've got all that set up, you hit create. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to add a new group just yet. Um, and that's it. And then once you actually go into the group, LinkedIn has less than perfect group sharing, but you just copy that URL and you can email it to people and say, hey, join me on this LinkedIn group. Or if you're connected to a bunch of people, you can invite them through this feature. So when you're in your group, you can see we can manage the group, we can edit the group, we can look at posts that are pending, requests to join. So for example, we might go to invite connections, and we might click on a few people. And as you can see, that we hit invite 6, they'll all get invited to join the group. And that's it. So when you have strategic partners, you want to find out if they're on Facebook or LinkedIn or both. And the first thing you want to do is invite them to join one of your groups. Next thing you want to do is invite them to speak to one of your groups so that you can have them share informational posts and things like that. And then once they've posted a couple of times, ask them to invite their friends, contacts, colleagues, clients, etc. And by doing that, you've therefore built a community around you. And now the key, I would say, to all of this is consistency. So if you want to post once a week, if you want to post once a month, if you want to post once a day, that's fine. Just tell people what to expect and share that with your community. So, as an example, I'm going to be creating one video a week on how businesses can improve their cash flow. The good news is I can sit down and record like 10 of them at once, and then just you release it one a week over the next 10 weeks. Or, as I've just showed you, you can just quickly create your slide cover image. You can create that very quickly. Just jump on Zoom, record it quickly, upload it, done. Now, the last thing, if you get into video editing, for some reason you have a lot of mistakes, my piece of advice to you is it's faster and easier to re-record and do it live than it is to try and get into editing. Now, if you do insist on editing, happy to have a chat, happy to do more training on that. You're going to need some extra tools. So for now, just practice getting it done. And what I would say for all of you is as you're launching this, as you're trying to get started, focus on one tip. Keep the video well under 5 minutes. 2 to 3 minutes is actually the ideal, the sweet spot. Definitely under 5 minutes. And then what you want to do is, as people are engaging and liking it on social media, you want to comment, tag them, say, hey, so and so thought this tip might be useful for you given your industry. And that's another thing with your videos with the tags, be specific. If you record a video on how a plumber can get paid faster, make sure you put that in the thing and say, if you're a plumber, watch this video. What that does is if you do that every now and then, it encourages people to share it with their friends in the plumbing space. So that's a very, very quick, high level how to set up YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Share this with your team members, share it with your social media people, and happy to answer any questions that you might have.